Greetings, my champions, and welcome to Live with Chatufa. We are looking at the controversies that are in the country right now, especially after the Mutsvangwa utterances. We are seeing that the tensions are rising right inside the camp of the enemy, and Zanu PF is not going to be surviving this thing that they have started. We have always been knowing that the implosion is going to start from right inside the camp of the enemy, which is a thing that we have always prayed for and believed for, because God had given us a hint of how things were going to turn out at the end of the day. And right now, we are not surprised where we are today to begin to see this kind of confusion and hula baloo that is right inside Zanu PF. A Muchangwa presidency shall be the greatest joke Zimbabwe has ever seen. Killer Zivhu mocks Chris Muchangwa. It is right interesting, quite very interesting, when we now begin to see those that are inside Zanu PF themselves mocking Chris Muchangwa. We've seen and heard from quite many quarters that Muchangwa is actually earmarking himself and positioning himself to take over from Emmerson Mnangagwa. And part of that is what is causing the divisions and the fights that we are seeing. One being that while Mnangagwa wants to move on, Muchangwa purports to support the moving on of Mnangagwa to 2030, while at the same time he's also, on the other hand, hiding from some corner, aiming to take over if Mnangagwa happens to bite the dust, which is quite very treacherous on his part, which is common actually in Zanu PF, that these people, they pretend to be one, they pretend to be comrades, they pretend to be pulling in one direction, but the truth of the matter is they are far from pulling together. The fight is continuous, the fight is on, and we are watching this happening on a daily basis. But the pressure, of course, that we are seeing already exerted by especially the Geza Revolution and the push by the citizens of Zimbabwe to join hands and demonstrate in the upcoming March, it seems it is gaining more and more momentum, and this is actually putting Mnangagwa and his cabal in 6s and 7s. Where we stand right now, we are seeing a situation that is very, very volatile. It could explode into something that nobody would ever understand. Killer Zivhu writes on his tweet account and says, Chris' presidential dreams are a joke. He can only rule if he is the last one standing. Newsflash, Zimbabwe needs a leader for its people, not a power-hungry individual. He is better off being a puppet than a president. Right. So this is coming out of, the Standard newspaper that is just indicated that tensions brew over planned mass-processed Chiwenga, Mutsvangwa feud, rock, Zanu PF. So Killer Zivhu, being one of those that Zanu PF leaders, is actually looking at this as a big joke. It's unfortunate that Chris Muchangwa is actually seen this way right inside Zanu PF, while he takes himself to be very, very important or instrumental or quite, a chauvinist of some kind of sort. He still is seen in a bad light by many, many people that are right inside Zanu PF. We see them continuously throwing stones at him and mocking him left, right, and center on every move that he tries to do. But what it simply means is that Muchangwa is very unelectable and unwanted. He does not have any constituency that stands with him. We've seen, of course, also how Mnangagwa has been saving Chris Muchangwa here and there, especially after the defeats in the election. You remember what happened in Norton, where he was beaten left, right, and center. Mnangagwa had to take him and save him, the same way that Mnangagwa has always been saved by Mugabe when he lost elections many, many times. He has tried to do that also for Chris Muchangwa, and without a constituency and even being propelled to become Minister of War Veterans, something that also did not last a long time. And even when he became Minister of War Veterans, he was disliked by the very war veterans who continued to speak ill against him. While he was chairman of the war veterans, again, we continue to see that the war veterans were also again throwing stones at him and accusing him of blocking them from being able to access Mnangagwa with their grievances and their cries. And Themba Mliswa has been one very critical individual when it came to Chris Muchangwa. He has been very, very critical of Muchangwa. In many instances, we saw how Themba Mliswa has been branding Chris Muchangwa as a sellout, as somebody not to be trusted, and stuff like that. This has continued to go on and on and on. And it's actually what we are seeing happening within the camp of the enemy. So our prayers are that we continue to see this disunity in Zanu PF. It's really working out for the good of the people of Zimbabwe. And I pray and I wish that we may continue to see more and more of such divisions in the camp of the enemy. It is really going to work out for good for the people of Zimbabwe. The people of Zimbabwe need to have a country that works and a leadership that respects the will of the people of Zimbabwe, that respects the constitution of the land, and not people that brag and take themselves to be like some kind of mini gods. And this is the problem that we have continued to see happening in the nation. And as we continue to watch and look at the occurrences, especially towards the demonstrations that are upcoming, it is actually imminent that quite a lot of damage is going to come upon the cabal of Mnangagwa. And there is 2030s as well as the Mafidi dynasty, who are trying by all means to see if they can force themselves through. But it's proving to be very, very difficult. The terrain is heavy for them, while they want to remain adamant that they will sail through. But we are watching to see if they will go through, but they will not. Zimbabwean people are never going to allow them to sail through, because already the resistance is up the roof. Zimbabwean people mean business, and they are not joking about this. This is not a joking matter. While those in Zanu PF, especially Mnangagwa side, they take it as if they can't be stopped. They are unstoppable and untouchable. But it is not reality on the ground. Zimbabwean people are resistant, and they will continue to resist this. So let's continue to watch the space and see what exactly is going to be happening. But as for now, we are simply saying to the people of Zimbabwe, let's continue to join hands, fight, and continue to push. We are definitely going to win at the end of the day. There is no one who will stop the train. The train is already rolling. It's getting there. The freedom for Zimbabwe is here, and our God is in it. Thank you so much for joining me on this show. We'll meet in upcoming shows, and shalom.